Okay, welcome to episode 2 of What's the Topic. I'm your host, Matt, better known as Jasper Reviews. With me, as always, is my co-host, Luke.
How's it going, guys?
Hello. In this episode, we're going to be just talking the week's news, and then we're going to discuss the sequel trilogy of Star Wars. So, it's a big episode. So, first of all, let's start with the news. So, there's more details coming out about the Black Widow film. And they're saying basically the baton of Black Widow is going to be handed over to Florence Pugh, who plays Yelena Belova. I can't pronounce it.
Yeah.
So it sounds like we're going to get more and more Black Widow. What do you think of that? Or do you think just move on to a new character?
Before I heard this news, I was very much up for let's just do this film. You know, Scarlett Johansson's version is dead, obviously. Let's now move on. But now that Florence Pugh is involved, I can't say I've seen loads of her films, but I watched Midsommar recently, and she's fucking great in it. And what a film that is! So yeah, mate. I mean, I can't compare. I think she's a great actress from what I've seen of her, so I'm very happy to see more of her.
Yeah, I'm interested in this film. It seems like they just keep revealing more and more about it now.
Yeah, man.
Because obviously, it should have been released back in May.
I'm getting so many Winter Soldier vibes watching those trailers.
I'm
getting this spy espionage type feel.
I think this is going to be Winter Soldier female version.
Very happy with
that. Right, next bit of news. I'm probably going to make a video out of this because I've got some stuff to say about. But Ray Fisher has been on the tweets again.
Okay.
He's saying, I believe Kai Cole and Charisma Carpenter. I believe Kai Cole was Joss Whedon's ex-wife.
Yeah.
And Charisma Carpenter was when the Stars won the shows. We were speaking about in the pub last week. You were saying you saw she got sacked for being pregnant.
Yeah, she played Cordelia in Buffy and Angel, right? She got sacked apparently because she was pregnant. I'm not sure if that's official, but that's what But then obviously, so John Berg, who produces a lot of the DC films and produced Justice League, has now come out. He's made a statement. Joss Whedon stayed very quiet, and basically he said Joss Whedon was great. He was fine the whole time. We wouldn't allow this to happen. And he believes Ray Fisher's anger has come from them wanting to say the word booyah, which is Cyborg's catchphrase. So apparently that's where his deep-seated anger is held, because he didn't want to say booyah, which I find very unlikely. Yeah, very unlikely. There's no chance. Come on, man.
Yeah, But then I thought about it a little bit more, and do you remember he was going to do a Batgirl film, Joss Whedon. He was going to do a Batgirl film.
I do remember.
He got announced as he was writing it, and then a couple months later, they said he's now directing Justice League. Yeah. He's going to do all the reshoots. And then 10 months or so later, he didn't do it. He said he couldn't do a story, and then I looked into what he said. He says, a lot has happened in this year. So now I'm thinking, after all this research, and I'm thinking of a conspiracy theory, is that perhaps a lot of what Ray Fisher is saying is true, and they've now pushed him off the actual film, Batgirl.
I'm not sure, man. I don't think... It's so tough, but I'm not sure about that, mate. I'm really not sure about that.
Well, it's just interesting because obviously he's always doing these female-led productions, and then suddenly it was all very unceremonious, kind of how he went. Suddenly he just went and said, no, I couldn't do the story, when it's kind of a story he's always been quite passionate for.
Yeah.
He's always spoke about a Batgirl film, and now suddenly he just said he couldn't do the story, which seems odd, and I think there could be something in it that perhaps...
Or maybe he just realised that you can't do a fucking Batgirl film before you establish a proper Batman. Maybe he just fucking realised that, mate.
Or he realised, perhaps Ben Affleck's crippling alcoholism was going to stop any chance. Well, it's just interesting because obviously now they're coming out, people are saying he was so awful, he was so terrible, and now it seems, because now you don't hear much of Joss Whedon. So perhaps there is something.
You probably know more about this than I do, but has there been anything on a Marvel side of things with regards to cast members ever saying anything negative about him? Curious.
Nothing at the moment.
No.
Nothing yet. But it'd be interesting to see where it goes now.
Very much so.
Because I can see it coming out now saying, well, actually, he didn't do Batgirl because we had such a bad experience with working him on in Justice League that we thought move on. But he said he will never work at Marvel Studios again, and Marvel have never really spoken about him.
Do you know what Whedon's next project is?
Yes, he's got a TV show, which I forget the name of.
Okay.
He does have a TV show. He's gone back to TV.
Cool.
Because he's more of a TV director,
Yeah,
isn't
man.
he? That's what he's all about.
I've started rewatching Buffy.
Buffy.
So good, man.
No, I watched it.
You need to watch Buffy. It's
I
so
got
good.
all on E4 now.
Yeah, man, that's what we started watching on. We've started like binge watching all on there. Like, it's class. It's class.
But I think there could be something in that perhaps that's why he hasn't done Batgirl, is that maybe he's just pissed off. Because what Kevin Smith has now got involved as well and said apparently he was always lambasting Zack Snyder's version of the film. He was saying it's terrible, it's all awful, but then obviously he's working with the same people who have done that film, and then making them switch. So it sounds like he's ruffled the wrong feathers. He's come in, said everything you've done is rubbish, and maybe everyone's gone, perhaps we don't want to work with this guy again, and that's why we're not seeing the Batgirl film, which I thought was definitely going to be made.
Very much so. I mean, at the end of the day, man, it's all going to be speculation, isn't it? Until someone officially comes out and says what actually the hell is going on. But yeah, man, it's very interesting. It'll be very interesting to see if this develops even more.
I think it will. I think it definitely will. But it's interesting also because obviously Ray Fisher is kind of cutting off his nose to spite his face now because he's not going to do any more films, is he?
Yeah,
he's got no chance.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on. I've got horror news here. I know you love your horror films.
Yeah, boy.
The Candyman film has moved back 3 weeks from September 25th to October 16.
Yeah.
Which was when Halloween Kills was going to be released. That's now been delayed a whole year. It's going to be now October 15th, 2021, where Halloween Ends was going to be released. So that's been moved back a whole another year. So it's a shame. What did you think of the new Halloween film they released a couple of years back now?
Was it 2017 or 2018? I can't remember. 2018, right?
2018, yeah.
I really, really enjoyed it.
Yeah,
I really enjoyed it. I think probably, maybe not. The second or third favourite from the 78 original. I love the original film so much. And I thought, I really, really enjoyed the take on it. And I've got such mixed emotions about that little spot they released. Like, I thought the spot was awesome. Like, the little, 20-second clip we got. It wasn't really a trailer, was it? It was not a little spot. Like, I thought it was awesome. Like, gutted that we have to wait a year. But just that 10 seconds, getting goosebumps. I love it. I love it, man. I just want to see Michael Myers just...
Well, I'm more interested in the Candyman because Jordan Peele's involved in that.
Yeah, I think isn't his company is producing it as opposed to him actually being directly involved, massively involved.
I don't think he's massively involved.
No,
his name's attached. So they use that as the marketing, don't they, of the film?
Trailer looked very good for it.
Did look really good.
Yeah,
did look really good. Is it supposed to be a sequel?
Well, I'm not 100% sure. I think it is a reboot. I think, but I could be wrong.
Or is it one of these hybrid sequel reboots, kind of like Halloween is?
Yeah, could very much.
It's a sequel, but it's more of a reboot, isn't it?
I guess so. Yeah.
Same as even say Force Awakens. It's that reboot sequel thing.
Yeah.
But it's a shame. Yeah, I was interested what they do with Halloween.
You enjoyed Halloween, sorry? You enjoyed the
yeah, and I'm not a big horror guy. It was good. I thought he took a bit of a battering, didn't he, old Michael Myers? And I didn't understand how he was still alive by the end when he got shot a few times and he was in a burning building.
Mate, I'm so used to seeing Michael Myers get battered. I think in Halloween H3 he gets beheaded and he comes back, so I'm used to that by now.
As a horror fan, I didn't really understand it massive. But the lead is good. I forget her name.
Jamie Lee Curtis.
That's her.
She's awesome.
She's so good.
I love what they did with her as well. I know we don't want to get into a real horror thing here, but I love what they did with her, man. So cool.
Yeah, she's really good in it. She's really good. There's going to be a Batman prequel series.
Yeah, I saw this on Twitter. Yeah.
And they're saying it might even directly lead into Rob Pattinson's Batman. And there's talk he might be in it, and Jeffrey Wright might be in it as Commissioner Gordon.
I think it's a great idea. I really think if they are really going to pump some money into this, I think it's a fantastic idea because I get the impression with what's going on with this Batman film is that the villains of Gotham are going to be established. You're going to have your Penguin. You're going to have. That's the impression I get. So it would be cool if we then if the villains are established and you have this crime syndicate. It will be very interesting to then see a sort of origins thing for that being, starting up in Gotham. I think that'd be really, really cool.
Well, it would be cool. Apparently, it's going to be just kind of how Gotham became the shithole it became. Yeah. But then,
so basically, the show Gotham.
No, I was going to say they're just doing Gotham again, which I never watched. You ever watch that?
When I was at uni, I watched some of the first season. I heard like the first season's like the worst one,
but I
and then apparently it gets really good.
Oh really? I watched. Do you know what? That's a lie. I watched first season, and then I watched a few episodes of that whole Jerome thing. You know, of like the Joker, like is he the Joker? Blah blah blah.
But you can't because they can't use the name. Apparently, can't use the name rights.
There you go.
And then I know one story. Didn't they kill him and then he's replaced by his twin brother?
Yeah. Oh,
waste of time.
It's very odd what they did with that show. Actually,
that is odd.
I mean, I think Batman actually appears in like the last episode, right? They get that kid like actually in like that batsuit.
I think last series he's Batman. Yeah, he's Batman. I remember adverts for it, and the suit looks awful. It's all like rubbery,
terrible.
It looks really bad. But apparently it's good. But I think the last series of Gotham is kind of like Dark Knight Rises, in that the city is under control of villains, and the outside world can't get to them.
Cool, man.
So more Batwoman news. Did you ever watch the Batwoman show, Ruby Rose?
Nope.
Well, so she left. She's been recast with a lady called Javicia Leslie. I think that's how you say her name. She's going to be playing an original character. I mean, I've never watched any of those shows like The Flash, Arrow. You ever watched any of them?
Nah, mate. No. You know, I'm more of a Marvel guy as is, so like I'm not.
Yeah, I've always thought I should watch the Flash show because they've done loads on these shows, loads of like crossover stuff. And
apparently, Arrow is good.
Yes, that's finished now, isn't it? Yeah. Well, apparently, that's probably the best one.
Yeah.
Flash quite cheesy.
Mm-hmm. Supergirl, I heard, was not good whatsoever.
Yeah, I watched an episode of that, and it's very sort of cheesy.
Yeah.
It's not great. But I think, the good thing with this Batman thing is people are talking about, a lot of people I'm talking about, and I've never even watched the show, and it's quite interesting to see what they're doing there. But it's also interesting that it's going to be original characters, not actually going to be someone from the comics.
That's cool.
Yeah, so they're just...
African-American girl as well, right?
Yes.
Oh, that's cool. It's really, really cool.
Yeah. No, apparently, the Batwoman show's okay. It's all right. It's odd Ruby Rose left, but it's what it is. Moving on, Junkie XL, he's going to come back for Justice League. They're going to use his original soundtrack, which I think is really good because I think, even though I'm not a massive fan of like Man of Steel and Batman vs Superman, the music in those.
Yeah, particularly in Man of Steel, it's great.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Music's great.
And then also it doesn't fit where it comes to a Danny Elfman score in Justice League. And he just plays kind of like flutes and drums and it's all upbeat, isn't it? That's not. But yeah, he's coming back, which is going to be really cool.
It's good news.
That is really good news, actually, because that is one of the major parts of what actually works about those films. Totally. And they're going to do the original Steppenwolf design.
Oh, really?
Yes. He's designed, basically, you don't show much of his face, like the helmet goes right around him. I wonder if it'll be, because you know that Batman Superman deleted scene with Jesse Eisenberg. Have you seen that? Lex Luthor and Steppenwolf is there holding 3 mother boxes.
Yes.
And then he kind of like disintegrates away.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe they'll put it closer to that design.
I know we had a whole episode on this last week, but I am very intrigued to see what goes down in that film.
Yeah, it sounds like it's going to be a completely different film.
Yeah.
Sounds like it's going to be completely different.
Nah, I'm fascinated. I'm looking forward to then seeing the new look of Steppenwolf. And I'm looking forward to seeing what Darkseid looks like as well, because I know
these really pixelated image.
I'm sure they'll change all that up anyway.
Yeah, so it sounds like it is going completely different. And someone asked Zack Snyder on like his Vero account.
Yeah.
Do you remember they started releasing images like that? Aquaman said Unite the Seven, and we never got 7 anyway. We got 6. Yes, we got 6 or 5 of them. I can't remember what we got.
Okay.
I can't remember. There's 6 of them. There's 6 characters, isn't there? But United 7, obviously, there's no Green Lantern. So someone said, what does United 7 mean? Is it going to be Green Lantern? He just came back with a winky face reply. So there's talks he might stick a Green Lantern in there, which would be cool. Yes.
It would be cool, man, but in an already convoluted movie,
it doesn't really work.
It's not going to work. Like, it even annoyed me at the end of the cut we got, the Whedon cut or whatever you want to call it, when I think that last scene in Wayne Manor when they're getting the table sorted and they're talking about the amount of seats they're going to have and they go, and enough room for more.
Yeah, room for more, yeah.
Fuck off. Just stick with the film, man. Don't try and... It just annoys me. Just stick to it. Like, don't... Ugh. But like I said, I mean, it sounds like I'm moaning, but I'm still fascinated to see what goes down.
That's one of my favourite parts of the Whedon cut is when they do that flashback to Darkseid's battle. And they kill the Green Lantern and the ring flies off. That's one of the best parts.
Is it?
I like it. Well, because I also mentioned last week there was a rumor that Ryan Reynolds was going to come back as Green Lantern. I cannot see
that would be the biggest mistake. And Ryan Reynolds won't do it.
I don't think
he wouldn't. There's no way he would do it. If they made a parody of it at the end of Deadpool 2, like there's no way he comes back and does it. He's beyond that now.
His career's moved on.
He's got too much shit going on with Marvel. They need to sort out how they're going to get Deadpool 3 out. He ain't got time for this Green Lantern shit anymore.
I really do want a Deadpool 3. He's the only character you can just fold in, just keep it going how it is.
We'll get one
because he can just reference that he's moved, which is quite funny actually.
Deadpool makes too much money to not make another Deadpool film. He's
It's interesting though. Do you think it should be R-rated in
an
MCU?
Well, this is the problem, isn't it? This is the issue. I mean, I don't really see how you do Deadpool not R-rated.
I think you can.
They did that once upon a Deadpool thing, didn't they? I haven't actually seen it, but I haven't heard good things about it.
Nah. I think it could be good because I think that could be the joke throughout that Deadpool is keeping everyone in check.
I think
to make sure that they don't get.
I think that joke will be funny with the first time, the second time, not for a 2-hour movie.
I think it's funny for one film.
Yeah. I think even after
because you get say one fuck in a PG-13 film, so that could be a running joke in that he wants to utilise that.
But we've just written it. We've just written that script.
Well,
he'll be doing all this like title thing, and then in the final act he'll go fuck, and then they'll expect everyone to go ha ha ha, and we will all go, oh, that's great.
I'm smiling.
In the original Deadpool, we got about 50 fucks, and that's not why it was funny.
And Disney will use,
and this is the problem with Disney. They will use that as their joke. The whole swearing thing is the joke. In Deadpool, the swearing accompanies the joke. The swearing isn't the joke. Do you know what I mean? Like. No, I'm so against the PG. I'm so against the PG-13.
Yeah, but in the comics, Deadpool at times he is mostly just silly.
Yeah, of course, but the fact that you've already established him as this character, don't.
It's interesting what they'll do. They're obviously working on it. They're going to fold him in.
Yeah. It will definitely happen, but just the question is PG-13 or R.
They'll probably maybe MCU just have them at arm's length, just let them just carry on what they're doing. I could imagine if Kevin Feige likes any of the X-Men stuff, it's that because it's so kind of true to the character and compared to all the other stuff they did.
Yeah.
Last bit of news. So obviously, cinemas have come back and everything, so we're all going back to the theatre.
Yeah.
Do you know what's number one on the box office right now? Empire Strikes Back.
Oh, really?
Empire Strikes Back is number one in North America right now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, first time in 23 years. So it was number one back in 1997. Not bad for a 1980 film. It's been number one like 3 different occasions.
That's mad, isn't it?
Yeah.
Smart though. Obviously, get people back into the cinemas before they start releasing Tenet and stuff. Put massive films out like Empire Strikes Back. It's a great idea.
Yeah. For cinema lovers, would be like, I'd love to watch that film. Obviously, I've never seen Empire Strikes Back.
Mate, IMAX watching that film would be so good.
Yeah. You think like those films you never see on the big screen?
Yeah, man.
But it's number one. I thought I'll go watch Parasite or something when they open up.
Still haven't seen Parasite yet.
No, and I thought, why not just go watch it in cinema?
Great film.
I can't find a stream.
I've got the Blu-ray. You can borrow it.
Oh, well, there we go.
Yeah, there you go. Sorted.
That was easy. Yeah. It's kind of cool. Yeah, they've released that.
What a movie.
What else? Yeah, there was some other new. I think Joker's up there high on the.
They re-released Joker as well, did they? Yeah.
Yeah, I just think they just pumped out some. Actually, no. I'll tell you what's up there. Top 3 all Disney films.
Yeah.
I think it's Black Panther. Is up there.
Okay.
Second. And I think they did Inside Out re-release that.
Okay, cool.
So, but yeah, Empire Strikes Out, what film? It's the best.
By a mile?
No.
A New Hope's close. But Empire is obviously the best.
Yeah.
And then I feel like there's been a bit of a drop-off between New Hope and Jedi.
Well, I think Star Wars is interesting that there's 11 films and there's an incredible following where only 2 could really be considered very good.
I think, although Jedi's a drop, it's still very good.
Well, then again...
we had this discussion in the pub last week as well. The shit we talk about after a few beers.
I think... Well, yeah, maybe I'm being a bit harsh because I'd say Empire Strikes Out and New Hope may be some of the greatest films
ever. Yeah, I mean, they're going to get in a lot of people's top 10s, aren't they?
Yeah. And but then after that you got... Return of the Jedi's good.
You take the Ewoks out of Return of the Jedi.
Yeah,
it's an incredible film.
Yeah,
they're just an annoying fucking thing in that movie.
Revenge of the Sith. That's a decent film.
I like Revenge of the Sith as well.
Yeah.
But all right, well, it's a good segue.
Very much goes into that.
Yeah. So in today's episode, we're going to talk about the sequel trilogy of Star Wars, and we saw all these at the cinema together, didn't we?
Did we?
I think we saw every single
one.
We
did. We saw everyone together.
We saw The Force Awakens at a midnight screening.
We did, and we both came out buzzing.
Yeah. Do you remember when we walked out, the guy in front of us said, "Yeah, it won't as good as the prequels, though." I've got actually quite a funny story actually. Do you remember before the film started? Because I had to get up for work the next morning, like early at like 5 a.m. and we went to the midnight showing, like you said, right? And I was literally like, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do this, and I'm like having Red Bull after Red Bull, like trying to stay awake. Fucking the crawl comes on at the beginning, and I literally, this is no word of a lie, I was a second away from having a panic attack. I couldn't breathe. I was so excited. I couldn't control my heart rate. I'm an absolute loser, but what a film that is, eh? That's a very good film. Well, okay, so when we talk about sequels, should we go through each film, what we thought?
Yeah, good shout.
Then we'll, tie in a neat little bow, kind of what we think about the trilogy on a whole.
Yeah.
So, Force Awakens, obviously, we've kind of covered that. But obviously, yeah, I really like Force Awakens. A lot of people obviously say it's just a rehash of New Hope. But I don't think it's trying to be anything else.
No, it follows the formula.
Yeah.
And it does it well, like.
But yeah, I think it was a good jumping off point in that it established charismatic characters. I think Ray, Finn are really good characters in it. Poe don't do all that much. No. But I never felt he was... I came out of it thinking he isn't the lead. Our leads are Finn and they're Ray.
Yeah, massively so.
But yeah, other than that, it's just basically a New Hope. I thought it was really good. I thought they did a good villain.
Yeah,
got a good,
great villain.
Yeah,
I like what they did with Snoke as well, having him as like this force like over his shoulder. I love that as well.
Yeah,
it's a great film. I can't.
Yeah, I can't fault it much, except for sort of unoriginality. Obviously,
yeah, man. But what I don't get, you can never please people because.
Not Star Wars fans.
It's such an odd thing because obviously the original trilogy is such incredible movies, and then ever since then it's such a divisive fan base, and you can't please it because everyone moans about the sequels. Oh, it wasn't the same as this, it wasn't that, and then they make Episode 7 follow this formula, and then everyone moans about it again.
It was interesting because it originally everyone loved it, and then I noticed after about a year everyone turned on it all of a sudden, and then. And the lead up, everyone kind of said the same thing. Make it look like Star Wars, because obviously the prequels are all glossy and green screen. They
loads of CG and shit.
They don't look right. Like they look fake the whole time. Yeah. But obviously, it just didn't look like the original trilogy. And everyone's saying get back to like practical effects and make it look like desert wasteland, a used universe.
Yeah.
And as soon as it came out, like the aesthetic, it looks like Star Wars, and I for whatever you say about these sequel trilogies, at least they actually kind of look like Star Wars.
Yeah.
They look like if the originals were made today.
There's always the scene that always sticks with me is it's very early on when you first meet Ray and she goes to trade back stuff that she's just caught. Do you know what I'm talking about?
No,
I think it's Simon Pegg's character. He plays that role, doesn't he? Right?
Gives them a 1/4 portion.
There you go. Yeah. And you just see the way those characters look, and that was a moment you just think, we're back. Yeah, this is Star Wars.
Because that's real, isn't it? That's a costume.
Yeah, exactly.
He's not a siege. He's not in like the ping pong ball suit. He's wearing an actual costume.
Yeah.
So yeah, I really enjoyed Force. I thought, but then how I saw it, I was like, it's what they need to do. It's really nostalgic.
Yeah.
People have gone, wow, I remember Star Wars, I remember how it was. And then I always felt in the next film you had to do something kind of completely different. You now had to, and which they did.
Yeah.
And then obviously people we're on two different spectra of Last Jedi. So let's move on to that. So what do you think of Last Jedi?
I'm really not a fan of it. I'm really not a fan
Where
of it.
Where would you rank it though?
Where would I rate?
In the 9 saga films, the 9 episodes.
Oh man.
Forget the spin-offs. Is it better than Phantom Menace?
No.
Do you think it's the worst one?
I think Attack of the Clones is the worst.
I think Attack of the Clones is the worst. And then I think it's Phantom Menace.
I put Phantom Menace above it because the music is just unbelievable.
All the films are unbelievable though, aren't they? The music.
No, but it's that score at the end when Maul comes in. It's like,
I put Phantom Menace higher because as a kid I used to watch it all the time. I used to love it.
Yeah.
And before I could...
And Maul is awesome.
Yeah, if I could critique something kind of...
You also enjoy the pod race scene.
Pod race scene's a very well put together scene, I think.
Yeah. You can't fault Ewan McGregor and you can't fault Liam Neeson.
You don't need Liam Neeson's character in there.
Yeah, but you can't fault the acting ability, can you?
No.
Whereas you can fault a lot of shit.
I would say you could get rid of Phantom Menace and the whole 9 films work. Well, then it become 8 films will work fine.
Well, that's something that fans have been saying a lot as well. There's a really cool YouTuber. I can't actually remember what his channel is, but he says about how they should have redone the sequels. And obviously, you start Anakin as a teenager. You don't start him as a kid.
Yeah.
But one thing that he realises, and obviously you realise and I realise, is that Darth Maul is such an awesome character. He needs to be used more.
We should have just been the villain throughout the whole trilogy.
No, I agree. Yeah. I agree with that. But I feel like he's such a strong point of that film that that is why I put that above Last Jedi.
Well, yeah. Let's get more into Last Jedi. So, what don't you like about it?
What don't I like about it?
And then I'll tell you what I like about it, and then we won't agree, and we'll move on to Rise Skywalker.
Okay.
You've written a lot, haven't you?
I've written a lot. This is why I'm taking my time.
You've written about 3 pages.
So first thing I don't like. So first things first, right? Let me just start this off. Okay. So the opening scene is awesome. I love the opening scene of Last Jedi.
Oh yeah, and they bomb.
Love it. Absolutely love it. I think that is such a great opening scene. Can't fault that. Then the problems begin. So then we go to Rey and Luke, and I hate
that he throws the.
Oh, I hate it so much. It pisses me off so much.
I never had much of a problem with it. I thought it kind of really summed up where his character was.
It just makes him feel like such a little moody child.
That's a good subject to start on. What do you think of Luke in this film? Because a lot of people are saying, oh, well, he's not the Luke of old. And even Mark Hamill, he very evidently didn't like it. And also,
I don't like what they did with his character.
I love what they did with his character. I thought it was fantastic because it was different in that... I think
he's a fucking Jedi Knight, not a little girl. Like, come on, like it's ridiculous.
From a little girl,
or a little teenager, a little teenage boy or girl. Like,
yeah, but then you have to look at it if you look at it from the original trilogy perspective. He was like 18, and he lived on a farm getting moisture out of the ground, and then he got thrown into this role that he was the almighty leader. And I think to have a character just be all powerful and all good, can't have moments of doubt, is boring.
Yeah, but it's not just having moments of doubt, it's completely going the opposite end of the spectrum.
I know he kind of did a 180, but I just found it interesting. At least there was something to him. It wasn't just, yeah, I'm really good, I'll teach you how to be a Jedi, and we'll move along the film. At least there's some conflict.
It's different
in there.
You can't fault that they've tried to do something different, but in my opinion, I feel like it's so out of character from what we established with him in the original trilogy.
Yeah, but then there's been 30 years, technically, isn't there? So you kind of... I think it'd been more boring if she goes to that planet and he's just got a Jedi temple, teaching loads of Jedis, and has been cracking on.
No, of course. But obviously the story would have been altered. It wouldn't be that boring. There'd obviously be other things like thrown in to make it more of an interesting story. But just feel like the way that they made his character just did not sit right with me. There's actually a line which he says, and it really, really aggravated me. I had to write it down. He goes, "I came to this island to die."
Yeah.
No.
Well, you did.
You're a fucking Jedi Master.
Yeah, but
I come here to die. I'm so depressed. Oh, look at me. I'm now drinking milk from all the... Fuck.
Great scene. Great scene.
Come on.
It's
so terrible.
The way he looks like, what? This is just my everyday. What do you want me to do?
This is the geezer that like brought Vader back to... I'm sorry. No, I'm not having it.
I really like it. Yeah, but I like it. What I like is that he's gone through so much, and he felt there was going to be a new Vader with Ben. So yeah, why wouldn't he want to shut that shit down? And he recognises he failed himself, and I think it's interesting that you can give him that self-doubt. Maybe at times it did go over the top, like when he's sucking milk out the tin, that weird alien.
Been on that island for a long time,
which I love. I thought it was so funny. But I Luke is one of the things I like most about him. And as you say, at least they tried something. At least there are parts about Luke that didn't work, but there are a lot of points that did. At least they tried something. And I always commend Rian Johnson for at least he did something.
Very much, and I'll agree with you on that. fair play to him for trying something different. Hats off.
What I like
Didn't
about
work
him
though.
is he just basically didn't give a shit, did he?
That
He
is
pissed
what
off
angers me so
Star Wars
much.
fans. But I like that because he's going.
Yeah, but as a fan,
Yeah, but then you're saying how divisive everything is and how fans can't agree. And
No.
he's like, oh, well, just sod it. Like,
no,
this is what
it's
it
not.
is.
But it's not. It's not. It's disrespect in a way. It's not right. Everything was set up so nicely, and he took every point which was set up from the first one and went, now fuck that. Snoke, nah, not really feeling that. Knights of Ren, not necessary. Canterbite, oh, that looks good.
But there was obviously aspects of Force Awakens he didn't like, and he didn't like ideas, which is a point we'll come to later. Obviously, there was just no plan of the trilogy. The Canterbite scene is really rubbish, really on the nose. It doesn't need to be there.
Do you know the funny thing, right? Because obviously, I remember watching it in the cinema with you, and that was.
Do you remember when we left? Because you said, "What'd you think?" And I was like, "Yeah, it was good." And you went, "I'm really disappointed."
Yeah, close to tears, I think.
Yeah,
I was so pumped for it, man. Like so pumped for it. And yeah, I mean, getting off topic again. Talking about the Canterbite scene, right? So the scene starts, right? The whole Canterbite scene, right? When I rewatched it. So this is actually only the second time I've seen it since we watched it in the cinema together.
yeah.
So
I've only seen it twice.
Yeah. I couldn't pull myself to watch it, and then obviously because we're doing a podcast about it, I thought probably best I watch this. So the scene starts, and it started, and they go into the casino and stuff, and I'm thinking, okay, this isn't really my cup of tea, but I can't remember why I hated this scene so much. And then about 5 minutes later, those fucking horse things come out.
Oh, yeah.
And then I realised in that instant, yeah, this is why I hate this scene so much. Like
it's too on the nose. They're saying stuff like, "There's only one thing that gets you this rich." It's like war, and then it's like he's like, "Yeah, there's the bad guys," and he's like, "Oh, but you need weapons as well. Everyone's making this is really on the nose," and they're pausing it to like free these animals because animal abuse is wrong, and it stops the whole film. It stops the whole film.
It really that is such an unnecessary.
You can cut so much of it.
Yeah, totally.
It really does stop the whole thing, and it adds nothing to Finn as a character.
That's another thing I really hate about this film. At one point, they done Finn so dirty.
So did Bryce Skywalker. I mean,
yeah, of course, but it's where can
you?
you go from what they did to him in this?
They didn't really understand what to do with him.
It was very evident that J.J. Abrams had plans for him to be Force sensitive. Very evident, I believe.
He was. That's what he wanted to tell Ray, didn't he?
Well, but Rian Johnson just once again just thought, nah, that is not being part of this.
They evidently gave him too much. They gave him too much free reign.
Yeah,
because they should have reeled in some of these stuff. But at least there's some creativity going there.
You know what else really annoyed me as well, actually, in that Canterbite scenes when they're obviously all on the... What are those animals called? I honestly don't know. The shit CG horses.
There was a scene that when he's riding it, and it looks really bad. They've also gone like on a mechanical ball going up and down and put it all past him.
But that obviously, they're on their horse things, and it seemed like a scene from Harry Potter or something. And then this music kicks in. I can't remember the music, but it's so cheesy and so like Disney-fied. And it was like that moment when you realise you're like, Disney has full grip on this Star Wars trilogy. Yeah. I mean, that's actually a little good sliding point into watch Just Review's last video about Disney's involvement in the Star Wars universe.
I am very positive on Disney's involvement.
Well then.
I think they've created mostly good stuff. They've created some bad stuff. They've created, but they've created stuff like Mandalorian. It's fantastic. The comics are really good.
It's not fantastic. It's good.
Oh well.
You're really bumming that.
Force Awakens, great film.
Yeah.
Rogue One, it's a good film.
Rogue One's a good film. Solo wasn't.
No, Solo weren't great. They mucked that up though.
You know the problem? My problem, you probably disagree with me. It's Kathleen Kennedy which is in charge of the... right?
No.
She's not the right person for the job.
No, they always say that, don't they?
Yeah.
They keep saying that.
They need a Kevin Feige type there.
Yeah. There was some sort of rumour that he's going to do a Star Wars film, isn't he?
Yeah. I think it was supposed to be the next film after this. He was supposed to, I think he was supposed to produce it.
They were going to do 3 spin-offs.
Yeah.
And it's all gone quiet, isn't it?
Yeah, nothing. I think, but didn't Benny, the Game of Thrones creators, what's their name? Benny F. and Weiss? Is that the two?
Yeah.
I think they said officially at Comic-Con, or because of the hate they'll get in Comic-Con, they're not doing Star Wars anymore or something.
Well, Rian Johnson was going to do a separate trilogy.
And you can see that the seeds planted in this film again with those fucking kids at the ends and stuff. Like,
but we don't hear anything about that now. Because they obviously banked on... Last Jedi got incredible reviews. I think it's like the second highest best reviewed Star Wars film. It's up there. Yeah, it's definitely top 3.
They
So I think they thought, here we go. This is gonna. Yeah. We've got a winner here, and then they announced he's going to do a trilogy separate to it.
Yeah.
And then obviously, it split fans now. I don't think they're going to do that.
What they need to do at Star Wars, in my opinion, just really take it back to basics. Obviously, I think have they filmed or they are filming season 2 of Mandalorian? Have they filmed it?
Pretty much done.
Pretty much done, right?
It's coming out in this year.
You released Mandalorian season 2, obviously, because of how good the first season was, and season 2 is bound to be good. You then got all that Obi-Wan stuff done, and for the time being,
doing that TV series.
Yeah,
I do think you need to. Star Wars is an event thing. Do you know what I mean? It's
not that anymore.
Yeah, it's not a cinematic universe. Again, they pumped out. Well, they made their first film in 2017. They pumped out 5 films by 2019, and it's just it doesn't work like that.
Done it in such a short period of time, and evidently there was no plan set in place.
No.
The whole system's wrong. That's why I just feel Kathleen Kennedy she's the wrong woman for the job.
Last point, Last Jedi.
Go on.
Is there anything you did like though, except for the opening scene?
Let me just quickly look in my notes.
Yeah.
The opening scene.
Yeah, we said that.
Give me a second, guys. I'm just looking at my notes.
No.
This is a Star Wars. No, wrong note. No. Ah, yes.
Throne room scene.
Yes. Great scene.
It's a good scene. Choreography's really bad in it though. Someone showed me apparently the choreography. There's a YouTube video on how bad the choreography is.
See, that's funny because when I watched it, I thought it was good, and then I texted you, and then you were like, "Nah," and then it's fair enough, man. Fair enough.
What did you very last thing we'll talk about on our show to move on.
What, Snoke getting done dirty?
Yes. What do you think about that?
Hate it.
I'm very indifferent. I think it works if you don't bring the Emperor back for Rise of Skywalker, or you tease the Emperor.
Well, this is another point I wrote down. I hate with a passion, the opening crawl of Rise of Skywalker. And it goes as followed.
Oh, for God's sake.
The dead speak.
Yeah.
The galaxy has heard a mysterious broadcast. A threat of revenge in the sinister voice of the late Emperor Palpatine.
Yeah, how the hell that happened?
No. Absolutely not. You show us that, if anything.
No, you can see that. If you play Fortnite, they put it
I'm not
over...
fucking playing Fortnite to watch this, right?
They put it over Fortnite.
Did they actually? Wow, I didn't know that. What, seriously, just during a live game?
Yeah, they did like a tie-in Star Wars thing, and then they played the message over Fortnite.
Well, as a Star Wars fan and not a Fortnite fan, I will tell you that is not good enough.
I mean, I'd stopped playing it by then, but yeah.
Obviously, there's no way this would have happened because obviously it's very obvious. But Rian Johnson and J.J. Abrams have very, very conflicting views with what Star Wars should look like. But obviously, if there was any plan going into that, and they did intend Sidious to be in the last film, which they obviously didn't, you show that broadcast at the end of Episode 8. You leave it on a very dark, sour note, then we go into Episode 9.
I think that's a great way to end it. Is then when they all, because last year they all just basically all go off in the Millennium Falcon, don't they? And there's like 10 Resistance fighters left, and it's kind of like cool how they come back from it. And that's a great way because then they end on hope. They're like, we can rebuild, and then you can cut to the planet he was on, and you can just have the Emperor there.
Hexagon, is that it? Hexagon?
And you can just cut to the Emperor there going, it's all,
looking all weird.
Yeah, and he could say,
blind.
Whatever, like he was a pawn and now it's all coming together. But yeah, so anyways, then Rise of Skywalker, which is awful. I think we agree on that. It's terrible.
Yeah. I actually didn't finish it on my second viewing.
I watched it again and I disliked it even more. I just realised how boring it was.
Yeah, it's very boring.
They obviously didn't know where to go after Rian Johnson's Last Jedi.
Yeah.
Which I do think was a difficult task because The Last Jedi actually feels kind of like the end of a trilogy.
Yeah.
I kind of felt like at the end of that film, I was like, well,
do you need another film now? But we had Colin Trevorrow was going to do it, wasn't he? And it was called Duel of Fates. Have you seen what that was going to be about?
No.
That sounds a lot more interesting.
No.
It was basically...
What a great title, by the way.
Yeah. A lot of it was going to be set on Coruscant.
Okay.
And it was going to have... the Emperor was going to be in it. It was going to have General Hux. He was basically... The Empire is one. They're controlling everything. Hux is the guy in charge.
Okay.
He likes collecting Jedi artifacts. So he has... at one point, I think gets a lightsaber out. Kylo Ren travels to a planet, meets a guy, a Sith Lord, who teaches him sort of how to keep alive, how to suck sort of life force out of people. Kylo Ren kills him, takes his life force, and he was going to be haunted by Luke's ghost, which is a really cool idea.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not sure I'd really want to see him being haunted by Luke's ghost from...
The Last Jedi.
Yeah, The Last Jedi.
That'd be very depressing.
Just be
wouldn't
sucking off cows, the whole fucking thing.
And then Ray was going to argue the point that what's all this light side, dark side stuff about? Maybe there's more of a middle ground, which I think is more interesting to discuss.
It's very interesting.
Obviously, these 9 films have just always been light against dark, and then she's saying, well, I think there's more of a middle ground that needs to be met here.
Yeah. I'm not massively into like the canon, like the comics and the books and stuff. I don't know what is canon, what's not canon. But I think I've heard this, and correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't there all this talk that like isn't Qui-Gon Jinn like a grey Jedi or something like that?
Yeah, because he was never on the council. He was never a Jedi Master. So they say he's a grey Jedi. That's more like fans. They say like Ahsoka Tano, she's like a grey Jedi because they're not properly buying into the Jedi's ideals.
Yeah.
I think that's more interesting to say, what's there is that middle ground between this, like, and I think that's really interesting in Last Jedi is that they work in the prequels in some way, because obviously Luke says the Jedi's heritage is failure, so it's kind of saying, well, with everything that happened, there should be questions asked, and why everything's falling apart.
Yeah.
And you can't let that happen again, because the Jedi... I don't think it was George Lucas' idea that it was like the Jedi had gone blind, but you can work that in. You can take that meaning.
I think that idea sounds great to us, but I think to the casual fan and to Disney, you're never getting that film with Disney in charge. No way. That is a George Lucas film, all day, every day. That is not a Disney approved movie.
No, it's not.
As long as that is under the Disney banner, that ain't happening.
Yeah,
which is gutting actually, because you'd love to see something like that. Like, love to see something like that.
Yeah,
and I loved all the talk. There was all that talk about them after this trilogy, obviously doing like the Old Republic type stuff. That's not going to happen.
No, it's difficult with Star Wars because unlike the Marvel universe, there's not any places you can go with it.
No,
it's all kind of one setting, and. Yeah, it's a difficult... It's an event thing. They say they're going to slow down films and are going to do another one for 10 or so years, which is more interesting.
Yeah, make a few good TV shows, like we said.
I think Star Wars works very well as a TV show.
It does.
I think. Anyways, Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah, sorry, we completely went off that. Sorry,
I'm trying to remember it. It is so boring.
It's so boring, and it's so... I feel sorry for J.J. Abrams, because he had a very uphill task.
Well... That's the thing, is why didn't they delay this film? They sacked the director because they say he wasn't any good because he made a film, Book of Henry or something. Apparently it's like one of the worst films ever made. And I think they got cold feet. But he made the Jurassic World film, which I quite liked. But they also got cold feet. And then apparently, basically, they just threw out the script. And then J.J. Abrams with Chris Terrio, who wrote Batman vs Superman, so it's not the best of writers to get because he makes very clunky scripts, not very flowing narratives, and apparently they rewrote the whole thing, and then straight into filming it within 3 months. That's not a way to make a $300 million film.
They knew they were doomed after 8. They knew they were doomed.
Yeah, but I think then it's not all on Rian Johnson. You're not going, well, you have to have some idea of the plan, the overview. You know.
But it's like you said, 8 ends so as in it is kind of like the end. There's not...
I'm not hyped when I watched Last Jedi. I went like, I need to know what happens next.
Yeah.
Unlike Force Awakens, but I still like that film.
It's like it's not part of the trilogy. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
it doesn't seem like it's part of the trilogy.
Rise of Skywalker was more of a sequel to Force Awakens.
Yeah.
And going, here are the Knights of Ren, who are just some guys in black robes.
That was so frustrating.
Yeah.
But then again, that's something that I would have loved to have seen built up in 8. The Knights of Ren was so cool in 7, just the idea, the mystery behind them, and then we got nothing.
And then, obviously, Ray being a Palpatine.
Oh.
But then, if you watch Force Awakens, because he obviously alluded to she was someone.
Yeah.
Because Kylo Ren says, what girl? He knows who this person is. Then Episode 8 said they were no one, which I really like. I really like that aspect, that she is no one. And I think that is a really good message and a good plot point. And then just went back on it again. So it's odd that they said she is someone. Next film said, no, she's not. Then the third film said, no, she is someone. So they went back on it twice. And that just really doesn't help the film. And now I think that's one of the aspects I hate most about Rise of Skywalker.
Do you know what I would have loved? There was all this talk that this was actually what was going to happen. When we knew that Palpatine was coming into the fold, one of the theories was that Rey was a clone. Did you hear about this?
Yeah.
Did you not like that? No. And it's funny because at the time I remember hearing it, I was like, that would be pretty cool. And then when I watched Episode 8 yesterday, 2 days ago, whatever, there's that whole scene in the cave. And when she's looking at herself, and then you've got all of the different rays, like you've got all the rays in the line, like you know how it makes.
Right, yeah,
like,
that's cool.
And then I was thinking, it's quite cool. Like if that was intended, I mean, obviously it wasn't intended because she wasn't a clone, but when all the theories were coming out, I thought that was really, really, really cool.
Well, anything can work. Anything can be good, is what I always say, but not that.
Yeah, fair enough.
All right, let's say something positive about Rise of Skywalker. What do you like in it? I know one thing I like in it.
You go first.
Yeah, I'm probably going to steal your one now.
Go on.
Adam Driver as Kylo Ren. He is very good, and I like he became good again. I like that. I do. I think it was all part of his character to set out that conflict, and I think he's such a good actor because when he does become good, like he's changed in like posture. You notice because now suddenly he's like. When he was bad, he's also kind of rigid and all hunched, and then he's like free and moving, and I think that's a testament to his acting. But he is really good throughout. His scene with Harrison Ford is a bit weird. Did you get out that part?
I never got that far, but I remember coming out of the cinema, and that whole scene was actually one of my favourite scenes in the film.
It's weird though,
and the part, and obviously before that, the whole battle as well. I love it.
When he fights
Ray.
Yes,
and then I think he's. I can't correct me if I'm wrong because like I said, I didn't actually get up to this when I rewatched it, but he's on the Death Star, right? That was where they were, right?
Yeah.
And he goes through the throne room, the Death Star, and Ray goes through, and then that whole shot where he comes out and all the water is like a great scene. Yeah,
it wasn't in that scene though. He just appears out of nowhere.
Yeah.
I was like, where's this arsehole come from? And how did no one notice he had got on either?
Yeah, but it looked cool.
Yeah.
It did look cool.
That's Star Wars substance though.
Yeah.
It just didn't make sense.
No.
Because
well, a lot of Star Wars doesn't make sense anymore.
No, yeah, I can. Yeah, but when a film's bad, you can't dispel disbelief. When a film is good, you can let it off the hook, and that is the problem with this. That it is bad, and I think the worst aspect is either Ray as a Palpatine for me or Finn, because he's a real stagnant character.
He got done dirty after 7.
Yeah,
he just might as well have not been in this trilogy.
Yeah, He I don't really think he actually affects the plot in any major way in this one.
He doesn't.
He just kind of goes along, doesn't he?
He's there.
But it was such Finn. He's such an interesting character. You know, first of all, he's a black stormtrooper, which was pretty cool. And then he's a stormtrooper who's moved across sides.
Yeah, it's great. It's great.
It's such a great thing. And I would say killing what was the Chrome stormtrooper?
Yeah, I can't remember her name, but
Captain Phasma.
There you go. Yeah.
Killing her was the worst thing because that was his. That was his like villain to have, and I think that's really cool that he had his own villain he needed to overcome.
Yeah,
and then he overcame her in the 8th film,
and then it's done. Yeah,
and then it's like, where do you go with him when it's like he's trying to get rid of his past, forget his past, and Captain Phasma is that embodiment of everything he was. That's the thing
very good point.
Rian Johnson got wrong. He shouldn't have done that, and I think
Well, let's be rest.
Yeah. Well, what they should have had is obviously he got the better of Captain Phasma in Episode 7. Captain Phasma should have also got the better of him in Last Jedi, and then they have the final conflict. And that could have been a good ending if, say, you don't bring in the Emperor, Rey against Kylo, Finn against Captain Phasma. I think it works a lot better that they are, you know, they're fighting their antithesis of them, and they've got to overcome that.
It's a very great point. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, right,
What do you make of the kiss?
It's weird, isn't it?
It's very weird.
But they said they're not kissing as lovers; they're kissing as friends. I wouldn't kiss any of my friends.
I might
like
kiss
that.
you now.
Yeah, it's I remember in the cinema when I watched it, and I saw them pause, and I thought, what are they going to do here? Like, they never set up any romance between them. I always felt they were trying to set up more of a friendship.
Oh, he was trying. He was trying. Like when they first see each other, you know, in Episode 8, and he's got his top off. Geezer was tensing up. He'd been whacking out push-ups for a good 20 minutes.
Pump on, he?
Yeah.
That.
He likes her. There was something going on there.
How would even John Boyega's come out and said it's stupid because he said here's a romance. Like, obviously, she stabbed. Well, think about it. She stabbed him in the chest about an hour previous, and then somehow saved him with the life force thing they've now done.
What?
But I tell you what, actually, I'm going to quickly talk about force powers. Well done for them having the balls to add new stuff, like them talking telepathically, Luke projecting himself, and this healing power. I think fair play to do it because you can get a lot of backlash out of that, and I think it does fit in that Jedi will be studying something and learning more and more and more. Doesn't mean you're more wiser than Yoda. Just, you know, you're building off the foundation.
It's developing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that was such a cool thing to do, to at least give a bit of identity. But the life force thing was a bit weird.
It's very strange. It's just I don't really know what to make out of that last scene in Rise of Skywalker. And who the hell are those like Sith, like Guns N' Roses fans just like chilling in the audience? Like the whole thing is just weird.
Well, how did the Emperor come back?
Where are all those? What, they Star Destroyers?
Yeah.
Where the hell do they all come from?
Who's been piloting them?
What the fuck is going on?
Apparently, they said it's actually kind of, they have been waiting there 30 years. All the pilots on it,
just chilling in the ship,
in the ground,
in their ships.
Yeah.
No.
It doesn't make sense.
I've been waiting for this moment. No. You can't even see anymore, lads.
Where did he get the funds to also finance this? Is the key
Who's
thing.
giving him this loan?
Yeah. Who has financed it? Follow the money trail is what I say. That's how you get him.
It's just so thrown together, and it just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense.
It was so boring that it was kind of, the ending was, how about instead of one Death Star, 1,000 Death Stars, and they're all shooting their laser beams, but luckily the Millennium Falcon fucked them up.
Yeah, because they've had so long to actually figure out a way where, let's not have a weak spot here this time. We got done a few times previously. Let's not do that. Oh no, let's have another weak spot again.
Yeah, and I think where it comes on to is the trilogy is now turned into there was no real point. What's the message?
I've said this all the time. For me, this is just not this. This is an irrelevant trilogy.
No, and it's now just become a complete rehash of the original. I would say. I would say they've pretty much just redone the originals and gone with it there. At least Rian Johnson tried to add his own twist, and you can say it was wrong or right, but at least he's trying something. But J.J. Abrams just made 2 films. One was A New Hope, and I'd say Rise of Skywalker is very much like Return of the Jedi.
I can honestly say this to you right now, right? That the only reason I rewatched 8 and 9 was because we did this podcast. I will never watch 8 and 9 again. I have no interest in
I'll never watch 9 again. 8 I enjoyed more second time I watched it round. I do really like it, and I do respect some of the stuff he did there. Not everything works, but then most of the Star Wars films, not everything works. Do you know what I mean? But we say that, so of the new films, you'd watch Rogue One if it was on, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
You'd watch Force Awakens. Those are two. I think those are 2 quite good ones.
They're both good. Yeah.
Last Jedi, I think, is all personal taste, and a lot of people genuinely love it. But I think with Rise of Skywalker, everyone is committed in saying they hate it.
It's shit, yeah.
Yeah. And I think they should have just ignored the backlash and gone, well, because back in the day, Empire Strikes Back got terrible reviews, and then look how it grew and people understood it more. Yeah. I'm not saying like Last Jedi is going to become an Empire Strikes Back, but it does show that sometimes films are received poorly and then come back.
Yeah.
You know, people understand them better and look into them. But what do you think of the sequel trilogy on the whole then? Well, okay, we had this discussion about better or worse than the prequel trilogy.
So tough. They're both shit. It's so tough, but I don't know, it's such a tough question.
Sequel trilogy easily for me. Easily.
No.
I think it's got the aesthetic. It actually has some charismatic characters. It's got fantastic. Some of the cinematography in it is beautiful. Like some of the action scenes.
Yeah, you can't
fantastic.
get away from that. It is, yeah.
And I find the prequels are mostly just stagnant camera shot there, person talk to one another, scene done, move to the action scene, come to the people talking. In this, people are moving, they're talking, action's happening.
I think Episode 7 is the best out of
all six of those.
all six of those films.
Yes, easily.
But then my second is definitely Revenge of the Sith by a country mile.
But then you say Revenge of the Sith. I think Revenge of the Sith and Rise of Skywalker, they're both reactionary films, and just he managed to pull that one off. Because I think obviously his ideas weren't working, Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones, so he went, and I think a lot of Revenge of the Sith is reactionary to
but it doesn't seem completely off course to what 8 established, as well 2 established.
Not entirely.
You go from 2 into 3.
But I'd say the tone is it's a rated 12 film. It's the only Star Wars film rated 12.
Yeah.
And you think the first film had Jar Jar Binks stepping in the poopy.
Hold on, aren't all the new trilogy 12s? All 3 of them?
No, they're all PG.
Are they?
I think. Pretty sure. Or maybe, well, I know at the time it was I'm not looking, I can't be asked. I know at the time Revenge of the Sith was the first 12.
Yeah, it definitely was the first 12. Because I think episode 1 was a U, and then 2 was a PG, and then you get Revenge of the Sith, which is 12. Now, do you know what? In answer to your question you asked me, I think that the prequels are better than the sequel trilogy.
Fair enough. I think...
But just.
Yeah.
You know, they're very, very slimly.
I think then also you have to think, nostalgia-wise, obviously we were children when we watched them.
Exactly.
We probably have a... Like, I like them all, really. I'll watch them all.
I was 4 years... Well, when did the original... not the original, sorry. Episode 1 came out in 1999.
Yeah.
So we'd have been 5, I would have been 4. So I remember being at my grandma's and that being like one of the video cassettes we always had. It was always that.
I watched that film so many times. Yeah. That's probably one of the films I've seen the most of. I used to love it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think, and that's the problem is like the fans now are obviously our age, and they're going, oh well, you know, actually George Lucas's stuff was really good. And I think it's just that nostalgia, and I think there's kids now watching these films who'll be like, yeah, these are actually really good films. I really enjoyed them. So. I think Disney are doing a decent job with Star Wars. I think they're getting a hard time with some of the stuff they do. I think they really mucked up Rise of Skywalker, and I think that is completely on them. But, you know, you're going... Episode 7, they did what people said. They said, you know, make kind of a safe film.
Yeah, and it was a good film.
Yeah. And then they said, Episode 8, now you've got to do something different. And they did it, and they were like, no, we don't like that. But it's tough. It's tough. But as we say...
Do you know what's quite odd when you actually think about it? Because obviously, when we think of Star Wars, you know, we think like, oh God, on your knees, like, you know, fucking Star Wars is, you know, the be-all, like, it's fucking amazing. When you actually think about it, like, how many great Star Wars films have there actually been? Well, it's what you say, like, as we were saying earlier, truly great films. Like, you have Empire Strikes Back, which some people say is the best film ever made. You've got New Hope, which is just a fantastic film. Sorry, maybe let's change it. Not great, good.
Good films. All the original trilogy are good.
Yeah.
Revenge of the Sith, I'd say, is a good film.
Yeah.
Force Awakens is a good film for me. So how many am I on? 5. And for me, Last Jedi is a good film.
Cool.
And I think most people will say about
5 or 4 of those films are good.
Yeah.
I think most people will say the original trilogy, and most people say Revenge of the Sith.
That's not great.
Or Revenge of the Sith or Force Awakens. I reckon between 4 and 6, most people will say.
It's not a great tally, is it, when you think about it?
No, and I think it's always very interesting that there's this huge fan base around stuff like probably biggest in the world, and they don't make that many great films.
It's worrying, isn't it, when you think about it? Because you think, how hard can it be to make a Star Wars film?
The thing's, it's just so big now.
Yeah.
It's too big for
You can't please everyone. That's
yeah.
the thing,
It's too big now. And like you know, you've got stuff like the MCU now, it's challenging it, and they're facing unprecedented competition when they used to be the big hitter. Now it's kind of they're second fiddle now, really, and that's just the way it is. And I think people are linking that, saying Disney are doing bad because people are not so interested in Star Wars. It's like, yeah, but there's loads of media for like kids to consume and stuff. So why would they be interested?
Yeah.
Of this 40-year-old franchise.
Yeah.
Coming back, people were interested first. They, like we say, they got it wrong. They released too many films too quickly.
Yeah.
That was
way too convoluted. I just feel like they need someone else to be in charge of this ship. I know I've already mentioned this, but I do think Kathleen Kennedy is not the right person for this.
No, definitely not. I think a break of films, 10 years is what needed.
Break of films, give it 10 years. Feige goes over and saves the day.
Will he do it?
Yeah, man.
No, he's got Marvel, isn't he?
Nah, man. 10 years time.
Yeah, maybe.
He makes his Secret Wars movie.
Yeah.
And then him and the Russo brothers make that Secret Wars movie. Then he goes, Star Wars. I think it'll be the match made in heaven.
They're saying Taika Waititi's going to make one as well.
Yeah, and he'd do it great.
How do you reckon he would do it? Would he do it like he's wacky Jojo Rabbit kind of stuff for Ragnarok, or will they say no? You've got to stick to the Star Wars formula. What would you rather see?
If you hire a director like Taika Waititi, you let Taika Waititi do what he wants.
But then, won't all the fans kick off? Well,
no, because it's his own. Because it will be his own trilogy. They won't give him a film in the middle. Like, learn from your lessons. Don't make one episode and then get another director. You need to sit down. There needs to be a vision. There was no vision for this trilogy.
No, and that's bizarre that they took these films. Well, after I saw Force Awakens, I thought, wow, they've got a real plan here. Knights of Ren are going to be something like they've already said. Kylo, you're the leader in the Knights of Ren. You see a flashback with them.
It's cool as well.
Yeah, Ray is obviously someone. Snoke, he's pulling the strings. Who's this guy Snoke? And it's very odd that there wasn't just some kind of roadmap. Obviously, things change, and you can do, characters go different ways.
Yeah.
But it's fine. There wasn't like, here's point A, and we need to get to point B.
Yeah.
And they just didn't have that. You're rewriting the script for Rise of Skywalker like 2 months before you film it.
Yeah, it's not right.
And you announced this trilogy 6 years previous.
Another thing as well, which just obviously backs up my Kathleen Kennedy point, the amount of directors which have come on board to Star Wars films that have then gone out the door.
Yep. Yeah, you had Solo, Phil Lord and Christopher Miller. That was fantastic to see them do one. Well, technically, Rogue One, Gareth Edwards didn't really direct that in the end. It was kind of like a Zack Snyder, Joss Whedon situation. And then obviously
Episode 9. Don't hire someone and announce it. And they're just
Josh Trank, he was going to do a spin-off film as well.
They're just clueless.
Yeah. Anyways, maybe we should move on now.
That was a very interesting conversation.
That was an interesting conversation.
Having that conversation with you.
Yeah, you're not usually that interesting, so that was quite good.
Never actually sat here and listened to you talk.
Yeah, pretty incredible. Do you know what we need to do? We need to get theme songs. Got no theme songs to break up.
I was thinking this actually,
Yeah, we should lay down some bars during the week.
What, now?
No, I can't freestyle it. And we need to split up the show. But all right, let's talk about what I call this segment. Like what we're catching up on, or something like that.
Beats me, mate.
Yeah, something. I'll probably change each week.
Yeah.
What have you watched or read or?
Well, haven't started reading it yet, but I mean, anyone that follows me on Twitter, Matt recommended me to buy All-Star Superman, and it's been bought. I now have it. It looks incredible. Now I just have to open it and read it.
Yeah, it's a good one. It's quite It's a bit convoluted at times. It is interesting.
I'm looking forward to reading it. The artwork looks incredible.
It's very cool.
Yeah.
And you really get a big sense of Superman. Like, and everything, you see a lot of him in these. What's his big crystal? He's where he goes to.
Oh no, God, we're gonna get abused. What is the name?
Who goes to
Oh my God, why is this my head going blank?
I'll have to Google.
Look it up now.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to. It's like Superman's lair.
No, Superman no live here.
no.
No, I love that family.
Fortress of Solitude.
There you go.
Yeah.
It was Fort something.
Yeah, but you get a sense, of like he's more than just obviously all powerful. He's really smart, and he's doing other stuff. And
well, I know you recommended me another comic to read, another Superman comic to read last week as well, and
Secret Origin.
Yeah, and I'd be very interested. I'm going to read these 2 comics. And I'm going to really see if I can get Tom, because I'm not a massive Superman guy.
Fantastic.
I'd be very interested to see if these comics don't do it for me. Then we know that Superman isn't my guy.
Isn't going to be your guy.
No.
I read a comic this week. I read my first time I read Aquaman, Volume 1.
I can see it on the side here.
It's DC Rebirth. It's like the new stuff they're bringing out, and it was really good.
Cool.
He's very much like kind of like the Four. He's like DC's answer to Thor and Marvel. Talks like very sort of old, posh English. Do you know what I mean?
Hey, you can talk to fish.
Yeah, there's nothing quite like that. They do kind of reference it though. This is interesting. So he starts out doing that old English talk, which I don't like, because you're trying to decipher kind of what he's meaning. But then after like issue 2, it changes back and he just talks normal. But it is interesting because it talks about like everything around him, and that obviously people don't take him particularly seriously, and they're referencing that fact. And he's saying, "I'm part of the Justice League, but I'm not respected." Basically, Atlantis is framed for attacking a US submarine, so it's seen as an act of war. So there's all these tensions that they're going to go to war, and there was actually a really good issue where he fights Superman with Mira. It's just saying that stuff like how he's not even trusted by the Justice League, and that obviously he's come along to put an end to everything. But then it also shows how powerful he is, that he can take on Superman, and he can stand a chance for a little bit at least. It was really good. It was really good. Like, they're actually referencing who he is as a character, and that obviously people don't like him. He's saying, basically Atlanteans don't like him because he's from Earth, and then people on Earth don't really like him. He's saying that I'm seen as the black sheep in Justice League, which he kind of is. As
someone who's not a comic book reader, would you recommend it to me?
Yes, it is really good. It started badly, and I was like, I'm kind of regretting this one now. But then when I got through it, it was good. There was some good themes in it, and it's an interesting story. Instead of laughing at the kind of character he is, kind of using that as part of his story and who he becomes.
Cool.
Anything else?
I'm watching a show on Netflix. I finished Twin Peaks, so I think I spoke to you last week. I still had like an episode. I finished Twin Peaks. Twin Peaks is now done. I'm now watching a show on Netflix called Ju-On Origins. Not Ju-On as in I'm Ju-On. Ju-On as in Juon.
Yeah.
It's a Japanese show. It's basically like, have you ever seen The Grudge?
Yes.
Yeah, so it's basically like a Grudge sort of prequel spin-off type thing, all about the house and about this, possession. It's very dark themes, a lot of like abusive stuff, and like it's very dark, but I've only watched 2 episodes of it, and I'm very, very much into it. I like my dark stuff, so
yes,
I'm very much into it. So it's pretty good. I don't want to really spoil it. I've only watched 2 episodes myself, so I can't really spoil it. But if you like your horror and you like The Grudge, you like foreign cinema, I definitely recommend checking it out.
Cool. It's not so. It's just kind of a weekly series I watch it. But have you seen advertised the Harley Quinn animated show?
Seen it advertised. Heard it's very, very good. Haven't watched it.
It is fantastic.
I heard this. Yeah.
The first episode's not great. Mostly because I didn't really know what I was getting into. But it's like the animation is like a Saturday morning cartoon, but then obviously it's very crude. There's a lot of blood and guts.
Yeah.
A lot of F-bombs. A lot of C-bombs being thrown about as well.
Really?
Yeah. A lot of C-bombs being thrown about.
Yeah.
When I watched the first episode, I thought it's a bit OTT, but it kind of
trying a bit too hard.
Yeah. And then I think it found its middle ground as the episodes. I think they did that first episode as a shock thing, saying this is what's to come, and then they kind of like toned it back, but not like completely.
Yeah.
And it works in the show. Has Kelly Kuko's Harley Quinn? She's Penny in Big Bang Theory.
Oh, really?
She's fantastic as Harley Quinn. It's really funny. It's a really good show, and there's so much comic book lore in it, which I didn't know.
Joker in it.
Yep, he's like main character.
Do you know who voices him?
Alan Tudyk. He voiced the robot in Rogue One.
Okay.
He was the pirate in Dodgeball.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's about all the things. He's like real famous.
Random, like, yeah.
He like good comedy actor, been loads. He's good with his voice as well. He voices a fair few characters in this. It's got King Shark. It's got Clayface. Batman's in it. Commissioner Gordon's in it, and he's really good in it. So basically all the characters are played off, except for like Harley Quinn. All the others are kind of alternate of what they are in the comics, except for Batman, who's very serious in it all. He doesn't really change. Commissioner Gordon's kind of like this washed-up detective, kind of losing his mind.
Okay.
He's really funny in it, and like Batman's just trying to keep him together.
What are you watching on?
E4.
Oh, cool.
It's on every Thursday.
Oh, sweet, man.
And since Rick and Morty stopped, they do 2 episodes now.
Still need to watch season 3 of Rick and Morty. Season 4 of Rick and Morty, sorry.
Yeah, I've watched that. Yeah, watch that. It's all right. It's a mixed bag.
I've heard it's probably the worst of.
Yeah, it's a mixed bag.
Yeah.
There's some good ones, some bad ones. But yeah, Harley Quinn was really good. And I'm really surprised how much I'm getting into it because I watched first episode. I was like, I'm not overly sure on this, but loads of people told me it's really good. I thought I'll be giving up, and I've been really enjoying it. So yeah, that's a good one.
Awesome, man.
And other stuff. Yeah.
That's me done for this week. Man.
Yeah, I've got nothing else either.
No.
So yeah, all right, okay, we will leave it there. Thank you for listening. If you even managed to listen to it this far, as always, you can. Well, I realised we didn't say the actual podcast has a Twitter.
Yes, it
it's
does.
Called What's
we don't know.
It's called What's the _topic, or just search What's the topic.
What's the topic? It will come up. Yeah,
hopefully.
Let's have a look. What's the _topic? Right.
It's What's the _topic.
No, my phone's turned off, but yeah, what's the _topic? Yeah.
Yeah, I have a YouTube channel called Jasper Reviews. Got a Twitter, also same as Jasper Reviews, and
Luke Fiacre on Twitter.
And yeah, that's it. And we also have a YouTube channel, which will just do the whole episode. So yeah, please do support that if you can. And thank you for watching. Listening even. Bye bye.
Cheers, guys.